Testing 1, 2. How is everyone this fine day? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in this fine world. Episode number 31. 31 Sundays in a row where we have been talking Atlas Earth for about an hour, hour and a half. So thanks for joining me. As always, I do appreciate it. Go ahead and put in chat what you've been up to in Atlas Earth this week. Myself, I have just been chipping away at the monthly challenge ladder. I am almost there. I'm on the last rung. Just making slow progress. It was a little bit slower. It's been due to the arrangement this month. It has been a little bit slower for me. So you can see where I'm at there. I'm sneaking up on it. It'll just take some more mini games, and my challenges are kind of limited as far as what I can do now. Let's see here. I should be able to complete the arcade goal in a few days. I'm not doing purchase parcel because I'm in a savings mode like I had talked about last week. I'm getting there though. We've got rock, paper, scissors later on. If you're in Europe, you probably are doing it right now. I will not be doing travel. I will not be doing any more virtual rent Atlas bucks. I will not be doing city badge. I'll have golf, warship, bowling, and SRB starts in a few days. So I'll be able to complete that. So I'm just taking it. It's kind of a weird month for me because usually I depend heavily upon the purchase parcel points. And if I were able to purchase parcels, that's kind of a tongue twister, right? I probably would be done with it right now, right? But due to me being in the situation I'm at, which is I'm sitting at the top of the 3 times multiplier, I've got this space of about 225 parcels that if I stepped over into that, I would be losing money. So I'm going to do what in effect is not really a tier jump, but it's a jump to break even. And after that, I won't have to save for tier jumps anymore, but that will be a massive step for me. Just looking at my numbers, I'm at about almost 14,000 Atlas bucks saved up, and I need 22,500, something like that. So I'm on the way. I might be able to make it by the end of this month. We'll see. If it's close to the end of the month, what I'll do is I'll probably just wait until next month to do that tier jump, so I can play it into next month's challenge ladder, in other words. So let's go ahead and jump into chat and see what everybody's up to. A lot of discussion going on. Thanks for dropping by. As always, please leave a like and a subscribe on the video if you haven't already. I do appreciate it. If you want to support the channel, please think about becoming a member. For a few bucks a month, you can support me as YouTube tries to choke us out and take more money away from the actual creators that are bringing people into the game, or into YouTube. They're actually taking money away from us. So either way, we'll jump into, we've got DJ Dubstomp, who is a member of the channel. Thanks for dropping by. As always, appreciate your support. Let's see here. Annalise let me know that the music was not on, so I have to figure this out. I've got 2 sliders. One is for desktop audio, and I've basically got 2 sliders for the same thing. I have to figure out which one to delete, really. My Financial Journey's in the house. Welcome, as always. Appreciate you dropping by both my live streams on a weekly basis. Always good to talk to you. Usually have some level-headed opinions to bring to bear. Let's see here. Tanner Calder says we're getting there. Lady Sharon's in the house. Hello, hello. Sound is on. And it still bugs me that this little Twidget add-on for my OBS does not display little icons. Emojis, as it were. Tanner says, sounds good. Brandtastic is here. We missed you last week, Brandon. Thanks for dropping by, as always. At an RV camp, but watching on the iPhone. Well, thanks for dropping by. Out camping, eh? It's kind of a gray, drizzly one here. We're seeping into the fall weather here on the east coast of the United States. Didn't really go out and do anything yesterday. It's kind of like get the fire pit out weather, right? Um, Lady Sharon says, got my COVID shot yesterday and feeling icky this morning, but making great progress on the AE ladder. That's what took me down last week. Okay, so on Monday, I went to the doctor, and of course, the doctor's doing my yearly physical, and he's like, hey, while you're here, you can get your COVID shot, you can get your flu shot. And I said, well, would there be any bad ramifications if I just got them both? And he's like, no, a lot of people do. I'm like, okay, so they hit me in both arms. And then the next, I was fine throughout the workday because I came home, did my normal work. And about dinner time, I'm like, oh man, I don't feel so well. So I started drinking Gatorade and water and took a Tylenol. And then I was up and down all night long. I was just not, I was chilling, and then I was too hot, and you know the whole deal, right? And then the next morning, I let my boss know, or my manager know. I'm like, hey, I'm not going to be any good at work today, so I took the day off, and I didn't even do any videos, nothing that day. I slept most of the day. So, but on the flip side, my daughter, well, she's significantly younger than me. She's in her 20s. She got both of them the other day. It did not adversely affect her. So maybe it's because I got a gray beard. But yeah, if you go to get both of them at the same time, think about what you're doing tomorrow, because there's a percentage chance you may be sick. So watch out for that. Let's see here. Donnie S. is in the house. Welcome, Donnie, as always. Thanks for joining us. Says, good evening. Also signed up to your channel. Yeah, I appreciate the membership. It helps me keep going as we are in this, AI is affecting everything. Some huge, and I don't want to dig into it because I don't want it to sound like I'm begging for money or anything. I just want to say I appreciate when people help support the channel and keep me going, right? When YouTube is going the other way. Sharon says, mostly due to both starting a new game and being able to get several levels of arcade done, and also the mini games, unlocking 2 tiers each game right away. Yeah, and I try to not download too many new games very frequently, because then if you download too many games, you're going to get in a situation where your selection of games available on the arcade just shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. So I try to download maybe one new game per month whenever the challenge ladder comes up, and then it helps me knock out a couple levels of that pretty quickly, right? And then I try to have some older games I've been working on kind of strategically staged to kind of help me over there, but haven't had a lot of good luck this month with I've been able to pass a couple levels of the arcade games, and I'm close to this. I think it's the 3rd level I'm working on right now. So yeah. Voidtran's here. Welcome, Voidtran. Thanks for dropping by. Says, I wanted to ask, when did you start buying the monthly ladder thing? I started buying it at the very first in November, but November's when it started, of 2024. But it coincided with right about the same time I started making $10 a month in Atlas Earth. I had this strategy in the back of my mind that, first of all, if you all don't know, you've probably heard this if you've been watching my videos for a while. I just haven't bought Atlas Bucks packages, right? I did a video a while back that you can search my channel for, where I compared the challenge ladder to the Explorer Club, to outright buying Atlas Bucks, to doing the rent to Atlas Bucks conversions. And I went through all the numbers, and I don't do that a lot because I'm not a big numbers head, right? But I wanted to see the comparison, and in my mind think of, what's the best route forward to putting some of my money back into the game. And at that point in time, it was clear, and still at this point in time, it's still clear as far as how many Atlas Bucks you get back for your US dollar. the $10 you spend on a monthly basis on the ladder is the best money spent. Here's the big if you can complete at least 70% of the ladder, okay? So if you play it and you get 75%, or even better, if you complete the whole thing and get the legendary parcel upgrade, that just makes it even better. But if you can complete at least 75% of the challenge ladder, you're getting a lot more Atlas bucks back for your $10 that you spend than if you just outright bought an Atlas buck package. Okay, so kind of a longer way of answering your question. That was the thought process in my mind. My thought process was, well, I want to do this challenge ladder. And frankly, they put the challenge ladder subscription in for people like me. Okay. Earlier than that, all they had was the Explorer Club. And I fell into the demographic was, well, I want to put a little bit of money back into the game, but I don't want to spend $50 a month, right? And still at this point, I'm making about 45, wrong page. So I'm making about $46 a month. I'm still not making enough per month to cover the Explorer Club, okay? Not to say that I'm going to switch to the Explorer Club. I still consider the challenge ladder a much better value, so to speak, and to maintain that I'm still in the green. In other words, I did a video here a few weeks ago that showed exactly where I was in the game, and I probably should do another one because I'm just passing my year and a half in game, as it were. But I think most people who watch my videos on a common basis know pretty much where I am. And in fact, I did a video a few days ago that kind of went over my thoughts on the current situation. But so I feel my current play is that I like to put a certain amount of what I earn back into the game. And that at this point is about $14 a month. $10 of that is for the subscription, which I've thus far been able to complete each challenge, each month challenge, which has gotten me obviously the legendary parcel upgrade as well as the extra 1,200 or whatever Atlas bucks that come with that, really, as my value proposition, so to speak, as well as a $3 or $4 worth of conversion, US dollar to Atlas buck conversion, rent to Atlas buck conversion for the challenge ladder, right? That represents how much money I'm putting back into the game. I like the fact that I'm in the green. You can see here I've made more than $550. I think it's I forget, I'd have to look at my PayPal balance, but it's like $380, something like that of that is profit. The rest has been put back to the game. I like the fact that I'm playing in the green. There's a lot of people that do the Explorer Club and spend lots of money on packs and everything like that. And that's fine if that's the way you want to play, right? I just like being in the green. I like saying that I've strategically made a plan and stuck with it, and I'm in the green. I'm making profit on a monthly basis, okay? That's like the longer way to answer your question. I know I'm falling behind, but I like to give questions a proper answer, right? As it were. Sharon says, oh, and excuse me, also put down parcels due to have to break tier again last month. I also wanted to put some farm LPUs I was holding on to at my parents' house, so I bought some plots and got that done. Nice. Like I said, it's constant progress. Making your plan, sticking to it, making constant progress on a monthly basis. I get a drink of coffee here. Remember to leave a like on the live stream while we're going along. That helps the YouTube algorithm to push it out a little bit further to more people. Robert's in the house. Welcome, Rob. Thanks for dropping by, as always. Void Trans says, does Atlas Earth parcels, or do Atlas Earth parcels generate more or less money on other countries? And why is the multiplier different in other countries? Well, those are kind of two different questions. I see Beer Money Engine / Pharaoh Silver's in the house. Welcome. I'm kind of looking back and forth between the live chat and then the chat that I have on where I can select what question we're talking about. Okay, Void Trans, two different questions. As far as parcels go, it's all one number. How many parcels you own across the earth. What makes the difference is where you're at presently. Okay, you can have, like I have 1,500 parcels. Those parcels could be in the United States, they could be in Mexico, whatever country that is mapped out, right? But because I'm in the United States, I am playing on the United States tier list. That's the important thing. Now, I'll give you one more. But I will say that thank you to Arbin. Thanks, Arbin, for dropping by. As always, appreciate the support. Arbin just sent in a super chat, a big supporter of the channel. So I really appreciate Arbin dropping by. Always a very good attitude. So thanks, Arbin. Let me know if there's any questions or topics you want to talk about today, and we'll jump back to that. But as far as what Voidtran was talking about, I'm trying to find the... Okay, so... The second part of that question is, like I said, it just depends upon where you're at, overall number. But in strategy, it does make a difference. Because as you're looking forward and going forward in the game, you want to gradually start taking over more mayorships. And possibly, if you're a big-time player, take over governor somewhere. You know, there's different terminology across the world depending upon where you're at. And president or prime minister, you get my idea. The end game, so to speak, if there is an end game in Atlas Earth, is taking over these different positions of mayorships and stuff like that. So, with that in mind, it does matter where your parcels are, because you have to strategically place them in areas to have the most parcels in that area to take over mayorships. So even if you're brand new in the game, you have to look on the Atlas Earth map, which you can log into your account on atlasearth.com and log in and go up to the map tab, and you can look around you and see where there might be some counties or some cities, areas that are ripe for taking over, and you may start placing your parcels there so that you can take over that as mayorship, you know. So I know that's like a three-part answer, but there you go. I hope that answered your question for you. And I'm looking back to catch where I am, where I was in chat. Okay, and the second part of Voidtran's question was, and why is the multiplayer different in other countries? Well, as far as the mini games, if that's what you're talking about, across the earth, there are different, your countries are grouped with other countries that are in similar time zones for the purpose of the mini games. And the reasoning is that when they switched in mini games, you used to have to pay 2 Atlas bucks for every game you played. Okay. And there was a little bit of an uproar, and a lot of people didn't like to have to pay for these, right? At that point in time, it was like gambling. It was like you have to pay to gamble, right? If you did well enough, you got a portion back, right? And you got a nice sized pot going. And those people that were good at the games and spent the 2 or 3 hours playing the games liked those big pots, right? But those of us who didn't really like the mini games and just played them on a monthly basis, I didn't really put my opinion out there, but people generally know that I'm not a big time player of the mini games. There was an uproar. They didn't like the input, right? Having to pay. So they switched over. They found a route to switch over the games to just watch a commercial. Okay, so they're using the commercials, the ads to fund the pot. Okay, so what happened was the first month or two, they found out that the pot size went way down. This is how much winners get when they play the mini games, which is shared between countries, right? And so going forward, they were trying to figure out a way to make the pot size bigger. So the way, obviously, to make the pot size bigger is have more ads being watched, right? So as time went along, what they did was they gradually combined countries that were in like time zones. Now, you're not going to be perfect time zones. You're going to be an hour here or hour there. Some people get it later, some people get it earlier. But you combined a much bigger amount, larger amount of people into the mini game competition. So you have a lot more ads being watched. So the competition is bigger. There's a lot more competition to place in that top 1,500, but the pot is also larger. So that's kind of the Reader's Digest condensed version of what happened. Okay, Poker Mouse is in the house. Welcome, another member of the channel. Thanks for dropping by, Poker Mouse. Brandon says, thinking about using my rent to save up for an iPad 11. Is your iPad getting older? I had just kind of on the same idea. I had a Fitbit that I wore for like several years, and it was just pooping out on me. So I got one of the new iWatches, Apple Watches. So the Ultras 3. So trying to get used to it. It's a little bit heavier than what I was used to, but yeah, I mean, you can only use your iPad for so long if it's getting older. You know, just put it in your budget to get another one. G Foster 22 says, do you think a player will reach 1 million parcels? Oh, I don't know. That's a long ways off. Let's check the leaderboard. I don't check the leaderboard very often, except for when people want to talk about it. So this is what the leaderboard looks like currently. King and Queen still sitting at the top. Shaman 15, I don't think is... Shaman 15 is putting his money elsewhere now. So haven't seen... I don't keep an eye on this. So we are looking at... it would take a significant investment for the King of Queens to go from where he's at now to 1 million. So is it impossible? No, it's not impossible. Anything's possible, right? But I would say that if it was possible, we're talking a few years down the road, right? Tanner Calder says, LOL, I broke 2 toes yesterday. Wow, I wouldn't be laughing if I broke 2 toes. Hopefully, those are kind of small bones that are hard to... Well, they got them all taped together or something, or you can't like put a cast on a toe. It's kind of weird. Well, good luck rehabilitating your foot. People don't recognize how much your toes mean to you in balance and standing up until you have a problem with them, right? Happy Blue Dolphin. Blue Dolphin is here. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. As always, says, hi, General Chat. Wanted to ask, what are these crowns by people's name? I'm old. The crowns are for people who chat a lot, who are the top contributors towards the conversation. Okay. And then we also have people with stars by their name, and those are actual members of the channel. If you press the join button, and it costs a few bucks a month, but you're supporting me, so I appreciate it. But that's what the stars mean. The crowns is something relatively new, like started a few months ago. YouTube put it in. It generally means the people that are contributing more to the conversation, talking a lot, and also on the channel. Rob says, I will never take those poison shots. I don't trust what they're in them. Well, I didn't mean this to be like I always say, I try to stay away from politics and everything. I just kind of threw that out there. I know there's people on one side and the other side of the shots. Make your own decisions, right? It's just that I threw that out there because I got sick this week, and that was the reasoning and why I couldn't put up some videos on that day. And also, my thought process would be a little bit different. My wife is immunocompromised, so I can't afford to bring sickness into the house. If it was just me, it would be a different call, maybe. But I've always got my flu shots, And at this point in time, I consider the COVID shots kind of like that. They change on the. I understand everybody's got their own opinions. I try not to bring that too much into this chat. We like to, like they always say, the best way to ruin a party is to bring up politics or religion. So let's move on back to the game. Voidtran says or asks, when will Atlas Earth keep up with the monthly premium ladder? I don't understand that question. Annalise says at Blue Dolphin, this is a YouTube function that awards points for people who comment. Yeah. Preview this. Sorry I'm late. Well, thanks for dropping by anyway. Thanks for coming by. Always appreciate it. Poker Mouse says, just had rock, paper, scissors. What a disaster. Didn't even make top 1500. Wasn't stressing as managed to clear 2 of the reward ladders items. Almost completed. Looking forward to getting another legendary LPU. Aren't we all? Yeah, this month has been kind of like that. I think this month I've had a couple of the games which I was able to pass the first level, second level, and then it gave me the third level. And then I've had a few of the games that didn't. I've had a couple of the games that just gave me the first 2 levels and it knocked off. But to be frank with you, that's fine with me, because after doing 2 levels of a mini game, I'm kind of like, when I have to go to that third level, I know I need to do that this month since I'm not buying parcels, but it's just kind of, I'm done after, doing 15 and then doing 20. So that's 30, 35 games, right? And then after that, the third level is 25. So at that point, I'm like, So, yeah. It's interesting that not all of them ended up being the same for me. Maybe it was different from you. Maybe a lot of times, it just depends upon how you're passing along the different challenges, what's available to you, Brandon says, I did double tier jump and now I'm making 70 cents for the SRB and $5 or NRB, I guess a normal rent boost. I haven't heard, I guess that makes sense, but I haven't heard of it referred to as NRB. So that's good. Like I said, just consistent progress, right? Lady Sharon says, on minigames, I noticed there are a lot more choices. There are 5 for me before. There are 10. I just went out and counted. Let me go back to my challenge board. So I've got level 1 of rock, paper, scissors, which will probably yield 2 and maybe level 3 whenever I do it tonight, which I've got a couple, 3.5 more hours or so. Golf, level 1 of golf I haven't done yet. And then I've got level 2 of warship. And actually, I was wrong with my numbers earlier. Level 1 is 10, level 2 is 15, level 3 is 20, and level 4 is 25. So just to correct myself there. And then I've got level 3 of warship, level 3 of bowling sitting there waiting. So okay, back to chat. Preview this says that rock, paper, scissors today, 30 adverts, which licked me. So played for 2 hours, but 30 adverts didn't work proper. So much of a missed numerous matches. Yeah, I know exactly what you're meaning because I've hit this the last few times we've played this. And they're the same advertisements that we have problems with on a normal basis. When you're playing your 20-minute ad or when you're boosting, right? And they're the same adverts, and we probably all get a variety of them depending upon where you are in the world. But I get these broken ones that the only way they're out of it is to close the app and then to reopen the app and do it all over again. Well, Well, in normal case, when you're doing your boost and everything, it actually usually counts, okay? And there's no implications other than having to relaunch the app. But if you're in a competition, then that sets you all the way back. You have to start over again and watch another ad. So yeah, I can completely understand. I'm on the same page as you. I've reported them a dozen times or more. They don't do make any difference. Telling the Atlas Earth team doesn't make any difference. So it's just like they're telling us, who cares? We can't do anything about it. Just suck it up. So the one thing I can say is probably everybody is having to put up with it. So yeah, you're having to put up with it during the challenge or during the mini games, but the people playing against you are also having to put up with it as well. So Pharaoh Silver's in the house. Welcome. Glad to see you're doing better. Aaron Schwartz here. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by, Aaron, as always. Eric Wang's in the house. Welcome, Eric. As always, good to see you or hear from you, or however you want to say it here. MG Collects 88. What's the tier jumps for us here in the UK? I'm currently on the 80 parcels. Okay. So I will tell you this, that, let's see here. Let me see if I can pull up the right page. I don't have a boost ready. But whenever you hit that boost button up in the right corner, there's going to be this little bitty piece of script. It's like we need to put it in here, but we don't really want people to even see it's here. And it's a hyperlink, and you can click on it, and it will take you to the charts. However, to directly answer your question, we will go to your chart here. You are at 80 parcels, so you are sitting in between, in the middle of the 15 times tier, okay? So what you need to do is you are losing money comparing to where you were at before you broke tier. So what you need to do is really make your way towards 100 with priority. You need to go ahead, and that needs to be your priority to make it towards 100. That's your next tier, okay? So let me jump back here. We'll leave this up for a minute. You can also find this on the Atlas Earth. If you just go to, well, that's wrong. If you go to the main Atlas Earth webpage and you clicked support up at the top, and then they took it off this page for a while, but they re-added it to the pinned popular articles. Just click on why do boost ads change, and it takes you to the same page that they hyperlink in the game, right? So I'll leave that up there for a minute for you to look at. Brandon says, are we ever going to see cameos of your family in any of your live streams, Bronze? No, you're not. Everybody feels differently about being on camera on YouTube. When you put yourself up on YouTube and you show your face, I did almost a year worth of content on a different game before. Well, it was about 8 months worth of content before I made the decision to go ahead and go, buy a camera and put my face up. You kind of open yourself up to a lot of stuff, and especially with AI going on right now, what they can do with AI. But my wife has no interest in it whatsoever. And my daughter, I've said this a few times, we're getting ready to put together a new channel, and it will not be gaming related. It will actually be related about classic books. So it'll be one of those things like if you want to listen to a book while you're driving somewhere or traveling somewhere, it would be something good that you would listen to, because my daughter's heavily interested in literature. So it will be book related. We won't have our faces up on it. It'll be kind of like audio book with our feelings about what we're reading through and stuff like that. So she does like that idea, but also, and she doesn't necessarily have anything against being on screen, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. This is purely me talking about games, which my daughter likes a completely different style of game, because obviously she's 25 years younger than me or something. Okay, so hopefully that answered your question, Brandon. Caveman says, completed my challenges through the night. Nice. Always good to hear. Get that LPU. I think I will just buy parcels from now on until New Year's, until I own my real estate office all the way to my current place. Then I will save until I move them, just so the same thing here. Well, like I said, it's just the main thing is when you first start playing this game, a lot of times you don't know all the rules surrounding, like the tier jumps and stuff like that. And, or you don't have to tier jump, right? It's just good to know how to play a game, the rules involved, so you can make your own decisions. And that's why I really started making videos. So people, you don't have to tier jump if you don't want to. It's just that logically speaking in my brain was like, well, why would I want to start earning less rent for a certain amount of time? I don't want to earn less rent. If it involves saving up for a while, I'll do that, right? So, but good on you, Caveman. Like I said, consistent progress with a plan. Donnie says, did Atlas Earth do something special for Christmas holidays? I don't think really they do. The last year or two, they've done the 40-to-1 rent to Atlas Buck conversion event right at the end of the year, like around New Year's somewhere. I don't know necessarily if they're going to do anything for Christmas. Maybe Annalise can let us know if they plan on doing something special. Be kind of cool if they had a special skin or something, a special LPU in December for a Christmas tree or something or other. Markham Travel and Copwatch, interesting name, says hi. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for dropping by. Rich Brown says, I was excited to see I was matched up against you in the last racer minigame. I didn't do so bad. It's just, like I said, I do it enough to complete my challenges. Looking at seeing, I'm a race. I like racing games, right? And I'm looking forward to seeing what they end up doing with the, when they remake the game, which is one of the things they've been working on, right? Pharaoh Silver says, I'm probably going to renew my Explorer Club one more year in February 2026 and go monthly with the challenges when my annual expires in April. I should be at about $175 to $200 a month by 2027, and I'm pretty happy with that. Well, that's nice. That's nice. I wanted to bring up this comment because I told the person that made this comment that I would talk about it. Let's see here. It is on. Okay. So it was over in the Atlas Earth videos channel. Now, usually this channel is just for posting videos, but since this question was based directly off of video I posted this week, I thought it was fair game. I just didn't want to type out a bunch of stuff to reply to this person. This person is playing from Australia. It says, I get the, and this is referring to this video I posted this couple nights ago. It says, how I earned by playing. And really the video was based on answering a viewer who basically made the statement, I've been playing for, he or she had been playing for a year and didn't understand how I could get to where I was. So I was answering that question, basically giving details of how I played along and my feelings about the game currently and how everything's going on. This person says, I get the general underlying understanding from your video that Atlas Earth is slowly dying. Based off you saying that Atlas Bucks is giving less to you in areas of the app and Atlas Bucks in AMP, not in my country at all, is in a fewer locations. You don't say it directly to me, but it hints at a company struggling. Your thoughts? Now, let me say this. I don't think Atlas Earth is dying. On my videos, I try to be real. I try not to sugarcoat things. Because if you're going to jump in and start playing this game, you use a fair amount of your time on this game, or I do on a daily basis. And in the video, I go over the details of what I spend my time on, to make Atlas bucks, right? Now, the AMP program, yes, I'm disillusioned with the AMP program because they hired on a person to oversee the AMP program. And earlier this year, the end of 2024, we had lots of good hope. We had a lot of good momentum, and it portended a very good jump forward in the AMP program, and possibly going into a different country, going live in different countries. And they talked about how they created this program, and it's something they could license out to other companies and make money on the backside. And I was all for it. I loved it, and I made heavy use of the AMP program in my first year of playing. Because I primarily, like I said, I had a salad place and I had a yogurt place that I was earning 4-to-1 Atlas bucks off. So logic would say if you can get 4-to-1, that's a pretty good deal, right? So I made heavy use of that. And it's just my point was that over this year, things have just fell off. Instead of the AMP program going up, it's, in my mind, going down. Now, does that mean overall the game is going down? No, I think it's just that for some reason the AMP program is. I don't know. I don't know anything on the backside, what they're putting into it and why it's doing that. She could be working her hind end off trying to make it work, and it's just not working. I don't know. But that it was just my express of in that video I was talking about how I got to where I was, and part of that was the AMP program. Part of that was also using the referral program, which they've also stripped out of the game. Okay, so I mean, there's a lot to this that, and I'm not a marketing guru, right? I don't understand some of the choices they've made this year. And a lot of this year has come down to, well, we're working on a lot of stuff. Just wait for it. And that's what we've been doing all year, right? So do I think the game's dying? No. If I thought the game was dying, I would be talking about it, right? But there's some of the things in the game that have left me mystified, and I could hope for better for. Okay, so there you go to the person over in Australia that had asked for that discussion. Let's see here. Kia Nero GR is in the house. Welcome, Kia. I used to be friends with a person in EverQuest, and their name for their character was named Kia Ora, and we called her Kia short. That's just like a random brain thing. Random memory. Caveman says, I'm getting up there in my country. I'm number 4 with 310 parcels to take over. However, I actually need 410 parcels, though, for some cushion for the push. Yeah, I always advise if you're going to take over a mayorship, have enough to make a small cushion so that they can't come back and immediately take it back from you. Brandon says, I got the iPad 6. Oh, that would be a big jump. Well, good luck with that. Obviously, you get to a point where your tablet, whatever technology it is, tablet, phone, or whatever, it starts showing its age, right? And at a certain point, I try to have a backup plan. I try to have a little bit of a savings going, like, I know I'm going to have to replace this next year, so I get a savings going. Caveman says, your friendly neighborhood captain with your friendly free-to-play W2E reminder. Yep, Captain Caveman. I didn't do that last week, and he had told me about it. Pharaoh Silver says 1 million parcels is possible within our lifetime. Like I said, it's possible. There's a difference between possible, probable, and how long it would take, right? So, I mean, we've seen a huge jump in this last year, mostly because those involved at the top end, King of Queens decided to, his business plan was to put the money into it and put the effort into it. Don't get me wrong, it takes a lot of effort at that top end. You have to fly around and grab your strategic, the way he explained it to me, strategically, he had a plan, what big cities he wanted to grab, because obviously you become mayor in a city, And the bigger that city is, the more population density, the more drive-through traffic and everything, the better off you are going to be as far as the Atlas bucks you get on the backside on a weekly basis, right? So there's a difference between the cities you grab and then the cities that are going to be fruitful with Atlas bucks. So it's a whole plan, right? Arbin says, someone get boost fast where he was the most of parcels. Kia says, in the Netherlands, was not able to finish all 3 levels of rock, paper, scissors. Oh, sorry about that. Well, we'll have another one coming up before the end of the month, most likely. Yeah, that's what Annalise said. There will be more chances later this month. And we should have a Super Saturday coming, put in there somewhere. Pharaoh Silver says, well, I guess you could get it down to a bit under 3 million with the right techniques and buying 100K packages. Yeah. But like I said, that's completely out of my scope. It would be interesting one of these days to talk to one of the, talk to King and Queens about that, because I play this as a game. I haven't put any of my personal money in it. I have put some of the rent I've earned off of it back on a monthly basis, but that's just a huge amount of money. Caveman says, just like you don't realize how much you hit your fingers until you get a paper cut from playing rock, paper, scissors. Yeah. Southern Coiner Hunters in the house. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. Caveman says, I seen the CDC was gutted too, along with the shutdown. Wonder if it's affecting you yet. Like I said, I don't get into politics here. I will say this. For those of us in the United States, if the troops are not being paid, Congress should not be paid. It's that simple. If the troops are not being paid, Congress should not be paid. That's the last word I'll say. We'll go back to the games. Let's see here. Southern Coin Hunter says, I'm finally making $1 every 6 days, so as long as I stay boosted. Stay boosted. Yeah, like I said, this game starts out low, and it just adds. It just... like I said in my last video, it's just putting time and effort into the game, and gradually on a monthly basis, you just get more and more. Brandon says, Atlas Earth companion app for an Apple Watch ever going to happen? Oh, probably not. I don't know. I do get my updates whenever I'll get a ping when something in game happens on my watch, but yeah. Just kind of on that note, I've been playing another play-to-earn game. Well, I guess it's play-to-earn, if you will. It's called Cash Walk. It's like one of these games where you get points. You got to watch a bunch of ads, but you get points for walking on a daily basis up to a certain point. And I was kind of sad, I guess is the word, to see that whenever I got my Apple Watch, it will not sync with Cashwalk. For some reason, Cashwalk does not like Apple Watches. So, yeah, I'll probably be doing less of Cashwalk over time, unfortunately. So. Okay, let's see here. Caveman says, I had a glitch with my amp. I got my Atlas bucks for the purchase, but not the challenge. But I finished anyway with conversions. Nice. Yeah, in those kind of situations, about the only thing I can say is probably what Annalise says about 100 times a day is put in a ticket. I say it in my daily life as well, because I used to be IT and I'm still somewhat IT, because it's like I got changed out of IT, but everybody in my building still knows, except for the younger people, still knows that I was IT. So even though I'm not doing IT work anymore, they still come by my desk with problems with their computers and ask me to help. So kind of like that. Anyway, I always say put in a ticket, because I can't do any work without a ticket. Markham Travel and Copwatch says, what is the most diamonds you can hold? Got me. I think it's 100,000 or 10,000. Not sure. Oh, yeah. Annalise answered 9,999. G Foster 22 says, do you think Atlas Earth uses bots in their mini games? I don't think so. I think it's all lined up. I don't think it's bots because they are currently making money off of, or the pots are subsidized by us watching ads. Bots would not watch ads. So, Poker Mouse says, doing my first save up for the final tier jump. Only need to save 7,000 Atlas bucks for the jump, 2,000 already. I find it hard to save as end up buying parcels to keep mayorships, but it's really, yeah, you know, those things pop up, you know, from time to time. You got to make some decisions, but that's all in part of the game, right? Oh, I see Darren stopped by. Darren Harper says, sorry I'm late. That's all right. Better late than never, right? So thanks for dropping by. And Annalise said no to the bot question. Caveman says, I also hated these new ads that send you to the store instead of closing the ad. Yeah, we've talked about these, you know. There's multiple of these different kind of, and they're kind of mutating. They're kind of getting worse over time. It's all about trying to get your eyes on the ad, making you close multiple pages, making you go to a page and it locking up your whole phone, making, you know, sending you to the actual Amazon store or the store online, whatever. You know, it's all about trying to sell you stuff, right? Poker Mouse says, I'm at 25% badge boost and also at 450 parcels global, so about to join the 2% club. Nice. Like I said, all this talk all the discussion about you know, proceeding through the game, it all ends up, your goal is getting to that 2%, and at the 2%, within that 2% tier, everybody evens out across the world. Wherever you're at in that 2% tier, everybody becomes equal, right? Well, except for the ad revenue, but what you're earning off the game. Retro Review says, hey, Bronze, been a while. I caught you live. Just wanted to drop in and say, hey, man. Thanks for dropping by, as always. I appreciate when people drop by. I have a pretty popular live stream. There's a lot of people have live streams and only have a few people on it. Is it my personality? Is it my sunshine personality? Is it the gray beard? Is it the cool glasses? We may never know. But thanks for dropping by. 0711 City, ads getting longer and longer. They added double ads, etc., making it worse. Yeah, I don't know if they're double ads necessarily. I understand what you're saying. I think they re-engineered the same ad. So if it's a 15-second ad, it is. If it's a 30-second ad, a minute ad, sometimes when you get those minute ads, they seem forever. But there may be multiple. So it may be a 30-second ad, but you may have to close out multiple pages for that 30-second ad to actually get closed out. And if you don't close out one of those 3 or 4 pages, then it just sits there until you close it out. So the 30-second ad could be an hour ad or whatever. And I've done that. I've clicked on my ad, had it start, clicked through a couple pages, and then put it down, went and did something else, jumped in the shower, came back 20 minutes later when I was done, and it was still sitting there. So Donnie S. says, I did a calculation with 1 million parcels and the average of whatever that long number is, the parcel and $1.24 passport, you would make $10.65 during the 32-hour SRB. Yeah, I mean, you can take the... excuse me, you can take the calculator and you can play around with the numbers and see. I've done a couple episodes like that, kind of theorizing, you know, what the people at the top end are making. As a, you know, it's just a what if kind of calculation, you know. Russ Miners in the house. Welcome, Russ. Says, I'm liking the ladder challenge subscription so far. I should have done it a long time ago. Well, I admit it's probably not for everybody, but I've enjoyed it, and I think it brings a good value. I still say that. Even though there are some changes happening to the game, I still say it's if you're going to put money back into the game, it's probably your best choice. Pharaoh Silver says, I used to show my face on an old gaming channel and was attacked over my looks. Caused me to shut my channel down. So for me, showing my face has been a rare occurrence. Well, we're all different. I think as you grow older, I got a gray beard now. I'm a Navy vet. I could really care less what people say about my appearance as long as I'm presentable, right? You know, I put a little bit of oil in my beard. Can you smell that good fragrance? Yeah. I think the older you get, the less you care what people think about your looks and everything. So, but we're all different, and we all have our own challenges. So, you just got to make your own decisions and proceed forward as you see fit for yourself. And remember that you know, you got to pay attention to your brain and how you're feeling about things. You know, so. Southern Coin Hunter says, I will not put my face on my coin collecting channel. Yeah, everybody has a different thought process on that. And I put a lot of thought into it until I jumped on and did that. So, Caveman, I just saw that he commented, what oil do you use? I think it's Gillette. My daughter got it for me for Christmas or something. And the oil lasts for a super long time. It has this nice scent of almost like walking into, it's not tobacco, but it's kind of got that walking into a men's lounge smell where there's some kind of good, not candles or potpourri. It almost sounds like, it smells like sandalwood and leather. It's got that kind of manly scent to it, you know. I like it. She got it for me, and it lasts forever. And you can put it on a comb and comb it through your beard, and makes your beard more stylish. And you don't have to put cologne on if you put it on. Otherwise, it could be overbearing to those around you. Annalise says, I also rarely show my face. Like I said, it's just a personal choice for those of us who make content. Yeah, I'll leave it at that, I guess. Rage Rot says, how do you pronounce that? Is that a French? Is that kind of French? Rose Rot or Rage Rot? Says, I accidentally went over by one parcel. I'm not at the bottom of the 10 multiplier. Going to buy parcels as fast as possible. Yeah, if you go over, no big deal. You can just, work on getting towards the top and your break-even point. Russ says it came down to talking about books, huh? Yeah, well, she likes reading. And that's our new channel is going to be. And so, and I've always wanted to, since the advent of the internet, I used to be a big reader. In the advent of the internet, I've done a lot less reading and a lot more gaming. So what I wanted to do, the idea for the new channel was books that are in the public domain, like Sherlock Holmes and things like that. Cool books. And we're going to read them as different characters. And each episode is going to be like 2 chapters long. So it's like a half hour. So if you got a little bit of a commute, you can listen to it. And then our commentary on what happened in those chapters. So as a dad, it's a way to kind of do something with my daughter that otherwise we don't have a whole lot of, we don't do a whole lot of things together. Once in a while we'll cook together or something like that. But I was trying to get us together on a project. You know what I mean? If you're a dad or mom, you know what I mean. Try to do something with your kids. It feels good. Caveman says, I'm going to be looking into creating a 3D avatar to use with my Insta360 AI tracking web. I've got the same webcam. Love it. In fact, I've also got a backup down here too underneath my shelf. I like the use of it so much that I bought a backup in case this one went down, right? So I like it, and yeah, there's a lot of features that on this camera that I just don't use, but I think it's been a good quality, and I've been using it for a couple years, and it's worked fine for me. So I would advise. I think it's a good purchase. Annalise says, we do not have anything planned at this time since Christmas is one of the many different religions included in our countries. Yeah, that's another thing that as a game, you have to look at and not be like religion specific. Because in a lot of games, what they'll do is kind of take that holiday and kind of neutralize it and make it a general holiday. Like I said, but anyway, that goes back to the question of is Atlas Earth doing anything for that holiday? No. So Annalise says no. Retro Review says lots of trolls, Pharaoh. I thought you look like an average dude, but I've gotten away from appearing on camera also as of late. Caveman, that's why I did last month, entering into 8 times multiplier. Now I am about 40 away from the 7 times multiplier and about 20 to 30 to own the road between his apartment and the office. Nice. Mark Haywood's here. Welcome, Mark. Thanks for dropping by. As always, managed to finish the ladder early for a change. If I continue to complete tasks, will they count towards next month? No, they will not. It's a complete reset at the beginning of the month. So the challenges, after you're done with the challenge ladder, you don't have to worry about them. Caveman says, I have to move by December 31st. So I have time to finish and save. Then when I move, I will hopefully tier jump. Hopefully this move was planned and they're not like kicking you out or something. I hate moving. My last move was from New Orleans up here to the Philly area. And oh man, moving around the corner or moving down in the same city is a pain in the butt. Moving across country is a genuine pain. K-Man says, we are supposed to be getting a community aspect added to Atlas Earth. Yeah, that's the chat type thing. Another thing they've been working on, we haven't seen. Plus, they just started the new Atlas games. The lowering might actually be strategic at the moment as they probably expect many more users. Well, obviously, as a business, that's what they want to do. They want to get more users to download their app and start playing, right? The Atlas games, I watched it. I don't know how well that was viewed, how many people watched that. I didn't go back and watch. I mean, it was cool. I hope obviously, as a company, when you are devising something like this, and it costs a good deal of money to put that together and to get everybody out there and to put it, edit it and put it out. And then they had the money that they spent for prizes on top of that. So it was a large marketing spend, as it were. Obviously, they had to look forward and see what they expected to get out of that. Hopefully they did. Obviously, it's a marketing type thing to try and get more users. So I hope they got out of it what they wanted to. It was interesting. It was kind of to me, it was a little bit mystifying as far as the choice, but why not, Caveman says maybe they are saving up the rest for new users so they don't run dry. Well, I mean, I still think they have a good solid plan as far as the game continuing to go with ad revenue and everything like that. All intents and purposes, the ad revenue for games is just going up, right? The value of ads is just going up. So, yeah. Retro Review says only have been subtractions to AMP, so no additions. Yeah, that was my main point. I haven't gotten anything new on the AMP program, and in fact, over the last few months, I've lost several choices. Yeah, and I had a SSC Kelly made like a little thread over on the Reddit earlier this week, and we were talking about basically this topic. And the question came up, if the company decided to come back on, the plan. I'm like, Has any company ever left the AMP program and then come back? I can't remember any that did. Let me know in the comments if you know of anything that has. Pharaoh Silver says, I'm up to 69 in China Grove. Every time you say China Grove, I think about the Doobie Brothers song. Love that song. Love the Doobie Brothers. Rob says, or asks, how much would you make on average with 1 million properties? Oh, I don't know. I would have to extrapolate it out. I think what you could do is you could go to the AE calculator and then do your averages of 1 million common, and then whatever the average for rare. And then, obviously if you're going to be at 1 million, everything else is going to be maxed out, and then see what it comes down to. But that would take a little bit of putting together to see. Brandon says, when is your next live stream interview with Pharaoh Silver? We're talking about that on the side. How we're going to do, whether it's going to be a live stream or whether it's going to be a combined, record it and put it up. And we've got a bunch of topics. He and I have been talking on the side, some different topics that are pretty much like gaming related, crypto, play to earn, gaming, state of YouTube, etc., that kind of thing. And we've got 4 or 5, 6 ideas put together. It's just actually getting out and doing them, as YouTube is really trying to strangle us, because the changes YouTube has made, if you haven't keep up with it, even from the people all the way at the top all the way down, have really been strangled on the actual profit we make. Ad revenue has really went down over the last month or two. That's why I've been talking more about memberships. Sorry, I know. K-Man says, I've had a hard time talking to people in my area about Atlas Earth because the people in Denver watched the scam video out there and didn't want to hear otherwise. Yeah, I mean, you can't... I don't try to force anybody, right? And I just put out videos, and I try to talk about it as logically as possible, and I try not to sound like a scam video. That's why I always just throw up my numbers and talk about how I've played, and talk about logical ways that I see that are logical to me to play the game, right, and proceed. Like I said, I say in almost every video, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. In fact, it's not even a get-rich-slow scheme. It's a game that you can play and over time earn a little bit of money on the side. And that's all they've really said about it, right? They never said you're going to get rich off this. They just say make some money on the side, right? Southern Coin Hunter says, I bet you missed the Louisiana seafood. Oh, man, you are so right. I cannot get a good catfish or oyster po' boy around here to save my life. I couldn't get any good gumbo even if I wanted to. In fact, I told my daughter it's time for us, since it's fall, to make a good pot of gumbo. I have to teach her how to make some gumbo. For those of you who don't know about gumbo cooking, it takes all day to make a good gumbo, but oh man, once you've made it, good stuff. You can eat for days. Make a big pot, right? And then Pharaoh Silver basically said what I said about we've been talking about it. Arbin says, and the stock market is a game, long-term investment game. Yeah, like I said, I always talk about Atlas Earth as a game. It's not an investment. If you want an investment, go with the stock market, go with gold, go with silver, go with long-term government bonds, whatever. I'm not an investment guru, right? These games I talk about, there's a possibility to earn money, and you can earn money. It's just I don't talk about them in the same breath as I would talk about an investment. Everybody plays different, and you make your own financial decisions. Just, But I agree with Arbin completely. This other stuff is considered investments, 401k, which is stock markets, long-term bonds, stuff like that. Good stuff, investment stuff. This kind of stuff is more gameplay, and then if you put money into it, it's gambling, really, So Happy Blue Dolphin says, you were talking about money. I wanted to ask you, don't think what is happening in the U.S. is going to affect us playing this game or getting paid. I don't think so. This game is not a crypto related game, which the current happenings in the United States could have an impact on it. The other game I cover, we've seen a heavy hit. You know, Bitcoin just took a big hit. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear about that, but a lot of the other games I cover, Web3, when Bitcoin takes a hit, the other tokens take a hit. This game is just US dollars and it's just based on advertising. And from what I've seen, the advertising rates have just been on mobile have just been going up. So the payouts we receive, as far as I know, are based upon the advertising, these ads that we watch on a consistent basis. So Caveman says, agreed. I sent that comment before you closed the conversation about it. Moving on, though, would really enjoy purchasing the White House. So, but that's a landmark for sure. Yeah, I'm guessing that's a landmark. Retro Review says, I don't get notifications on my watch, Casio G-Shock, and that's how I prefer it. Yeah, I'm just going through the first week with my watch, and obviously I will be fine-tuning the settings. I'm usually within proximity of where my phone is, so I don't really need the alert on my phone as well as my watch. But, you know, you get something new, and you have to fine-tune your settings on how you like it. Pharaoh Silver, just backed up by what I said and what Annalise said. He does not use bots in the minigame because bots can't watch ads. Caveman says, same. In fact, Facebook brought up a memory of people referring me in comments to IT help with their friends. Yeah, I know how that goes. My manager, his wife volunteers him to help out friends all the time. I'm like, man, that's a dark road. You can get in trouble that way. Brandon says, is your Apple Watch Bluetooth only, or is it? I did not turn on the cellular because, frankly, I don't need another cell bill. If you turn on the cellular on your iPad or your Apple Watch, you're just paying another cell bill, just like you have two phones. I don't need another bill. Southern Coin Hunter says, Temu is the worst ad. I don't believe I get that one. But everybody's targeted differently with ads. Steve Moore's in the house. Welcome, Steve. Says, done another tier jump today up to 175 parcels. Left myself a few short of 180 for next month's challenge ladder. Sounds like strategic placing there. Sounds good. Yeah, I was doing regular tier jumps until November when the challenge ladder started, and then I started having to break things up to accomplish a tier jump in quickly as possible, but also to accomplish my purchase parcel challenges on a monthly basis. So I kind of tried to jump to at least the break even, and then kept that little cushion for buying parcels on a monthly basis until it made sense to actually jump to the next tier. Caveman says, I keep forgetting my free-to-play WT2E myself lately. I've had health issues myself while dealing with this move. Therefore, I'm lucky if I watch one ad. I used to get 120 AB a day for free. Now I'm not. Well, that's something I talked about in that video this week. I don't set an alarm anymore. I still think I hit around 60 to 70% of the ads of the 2 Atlas bucks every 20 minutes, or if you're outside the United States, 1 Atlas bucks. That's basically the basis of the game. That's the least you can do, right? But it also indicates spending more time with the game. So it is what it is. Obviously, when I'm in meetings and stuff like that, I can't do it. So I'm paying attention to what I'm doing, working on, and everything. So I try to hit them as much as possible. It's free. It's free Atlas bucks on a daily basis. So, you spend your time, right? Happy Blue Dolphin says, does anyone know if it will affect the game or getting paid due to the question above? I think I answered that. I don't think so. Yeah, Annalise answered that. The U.S. government shutdown will have no effect on you. But yeah, this ad this is a private company as far as I'm aware, Atlas Reality, and the government being shut down, although it affects different things, as far as I know, would not affect this because it's just all about watching ads, right? Yeah, Arbin went on to say Atlas Earth never broke. Yeah, I mean it's a private company. It wouldn't be affected by the government, as far as I know. Brandon says, just liked your live stream and put it in a Bronze Dragon AE live stream playlist for binge watching. Nice. Yeah, I mean, this is something I had thought about putting these streams, these weekly streams, into up on different platforms that do like not audio books, but podcast type things. I'd thought about that. And when we go to the new channel and start reading the books, I will be live on different, will be on different podcasting type places. Caveman says, what oil you use? Like I said, I think it's named Gillette. I'm using Caveman Beard Oil, Drunken Caveman. They have some interesting. There's this whole small companies that have been formed over the last 10 years, 5 years, that are purposefully geared towards men's hygiene equipment, mostly beards, right? Beards and mustaches. And if you start getting those ads, you'll just get all kinds of ads for like beard oil and mustache wax and little combs and brushes and stuff like that. I find that very interesting. Some of the smells I like. I kind of like the smells that I kind of think of when I think of a manly type scent. If that might be funny to you if you're a woman, but like leather and you walk into a cigar shop or a tobacco shop, and I don't smoke, but I do like the smell of a good pipe burning, right? That kind of smell. And, sandalwood kind of incense. And I like that kind of smell. I'm not like a fruity, perfumey, and I only like a little bit of smell too, because if it's too, I don't like to be one of those guys or women that gets on an elevator and then everybody's like, oh man, they smell so bad, or they smell so much, as far as they got too much perfume on. I prefer just a little bit, in other words. Darren says, I have Gillette as my beard wash and oil balm. Probably the same smell because the oil is Gillette. I don't know the name of it. I mean, as far as the name of it. I'm just scrolling through chat to see what everybody's talking about. Skip says, hello and happy Canadian Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. I forgot. Day where, Canada celebrates it a different timing than the United States. But be thankful for what you got, because some days you're having a hard day and you think, oh, man, this is the worst. There's always somebody that's got it worse than you. So if you've got a roof over your head, a car to drive, food to eat, you've got it better than a lot of people on this earth. So be thankful for what you got. Caveman says, you could do happy winter holidays, otherwise you couldn't do anything, right? Yeah, games have to kind of generalize it because they don't want to offend any religions and stuff. So Darren says, sometimes they group Christmas with New Year's. Yeah, and do a whole overall kind of end of year holiday type thing. Brandon says, since you live in Philly, have you ever met Big Willie, Will Smith? No. I don't live exactly in the city. I live just north of it, but I have not met Will Smith. Caveman says, no, it started as a constructive eviction, then an illegal eviction attempt, then it became became a mediation. Now, all of a sudden, now that he has the courts involved, he is finally doing maintenance. Oh, wow. Well, sorry you're having to go through that. Sounds pretty rough. Brandon says, if my phone's battery gets too low, I will unfortunately have to cut it short. Sorry, that's all right. We're coming down. We've got about 10 minutes left. But I completely understand that. Get that phone plugged in. K-Man said, I requested for over a year. Then the mediator told him he was in breach. So you basically had to force him to actually repair something around your place. That's unfortunate. Darren says, on Explorer Club, you can go into the advanced and it gives you an option to average it out with only one input. That's cool. Caveman says, have you looked at Web3 game called Big Time? I've heard of it, and it's been a while since I looked at it, but it's not one that I chose to play. This last week, Raven Idol went live, and I've been playing that. Actually, it was Friday it went live. I've been playing that like for hours and hours. I'm enjoying it. Darren says, sadly, me being in Louisiana, raised in South Louisiana and everything, I'm allergic to seafood and fish. Wow, that would be rough, man. That would be rough. Retro Review says, Justin Wilson made some good gumbo. I'll tell you, yeah, I grew up watching Justin Wilson. Some wine for the pot, some wine for the cook. I love that guy. He was great. Brandon says, I do believe Popeye's chicken originated in Louisiana. Yeah. Yes, it did. In fact, the guy who, made up the chain used to have a big building down in New Orleans that was like a store, but it was a glass front. And he kept all his toys in there, big power boats and cool cars and stuff like that. So you could drive along the highway and you could see all this rich guy's toys there. And he was, back during the 90s, he had this big fight going on with, I know this is getting off topic, but big fight going on with Anne Rice, who wrote a lot of the famous vampire novels. And they would do like, there was no internet. So they would take out full page ads in the Times-Picayune, which is a newspaper down there, and they would go back and forth blasting each other. It was pretty wild at that time. Caveman says, my Google Smartwatch 3 has service, but it's free included in my mobile bill. That's interesting. I don't think anything's free. You always end up paying for it somehow. Retro Review says, I have 825 parcels and 1,500 Atlas bucks. How much do I save for the break-even point? Retro Reviews, are you here in the States? If you're in the U.S., you are at 820. Excuse me. You are at 825, which means you are still at the below the break-even point of the 5 times multiplier. So what I would do if I were you is I would go to the Atlas Earth calculator and put in all your details here, and then look at the show boost break-even point. Let's see here. Let's see if we can see where you're sitting. 825. So actually, it looks like you're above the break-even point. It's showing the break-even point about 803. So I would just make sure if you're sitting at 825, if you're here in the States, I would just work up towards that next tier, which would be 875. So just work for 875. Poker Mouse says, I'm way behind on chat. So am I, but I try to address what most people say. I usually end up not hitting what everybody says, but yeah, Retro Reviews, I would just work on 875. working on climbing. I think you are above the break-even point, so I think that you can just go ahead and climb at will, purchase at will until you hit the 875. Then just be aware that 875 is your tier limit, and then you can work on saving for the next break-even point when you jump into the 4 times multiplier. So Poker Mouse says, I'm way behind on chat. I was driving to work. We'll catch up whilst working, but fantastic stream again. Please, everyone, like and subscribe if you can join and become a member. I appreciate it. I would very much appreciate it. Caveman says, I wish I could get the smell of lavender to help me keep calm. Yeah, lavender is one of those old-time herbal remedies that they've used for hundreds of years. The Chinese, going all the way back to Chinese medicine, right? And in fact, people say, you keep some dried lavender next to your bed, or some people actually put a sachet in their pillow. It's one of those things that helps you calm down. Steve Moore says, my biggest problem at the moment is getting diamonds. I'm having radiotherapy, so don't get out much apart from the hospital visits. Oh, sorry to hear. Chemotherapy and radiation is just hell. My mom went through that, and I can commiserate. I wish you all the best, but I can understand your predicament. About the best thing I can say is, when you do get the chance to get driven around by somebody, just pick them up while you can. Lady Sharon says, I know you're over time, but wanted to say, as a woman, I don't like a lot of the perfumey stuff either. My favorite scent is actually vanilla. I love the cooking smells too. Vanilla, cinnamon. Some of my favorite candle smells are like apple pie, stuff like that. Stuff that smells like good stuff to eat. What I can't stand is like when, luckily I don't work around somebody that does this, but when you get into an elevator or close proximity and a lady will get in and she'll have something very flowery, you know, and just like 5 times too much of it. It's like there's a difference between having a scent on and wanting people around you to know that you smell good, and then wanting people on the other end of the room, other side of the room, to smell what you smell like. And that just gets in my nose, and I'm like, oh, I can't be that person. I don't like that, so I don't want to be that person, right? Yeah, I like sandalwood too. I like those kind of smells. Like you walk into a, like I said, leather, sandalwood, certain tobaccos, not when they're burning, just the fresh like smell, that kind of smell. Darren says, Atlas Earth Calculator, you can go in and change it to advanced toggle switch and just put in 1,000,000 parcels and it applies a percentage. Oh, good to know. I saw that switch up there. I just haven't played with it. Retro Review says, I like the Razor, the Shave Club. I used to be a member, and I rejoin once in a while to get my supplies. And then usually it takes me too long to go through them because I don't shave a whole lot. I just shave up here and down here on my neck. So, yeah, I do like them, though. 0711 City, Raven Idol is way too expensive. You ain't got piece of the pot. Well, most everybody will, if you are to earn anything off of Raven Idol, you have to have a challenge ladder. You have to be a member, like you have to be a member of the challenge ladder here. There's a free side and there's a paid side. To get any money out of the game, you do have to be on the paid side. It's $12 a month. And if generally speaking, most everybody is going to take away a piece of the pot on that month. And, you know, they've just went over like $95,000 for this first season. So if you're interested, use my referral code on my last Raven Idol. When you're first setting up your account, they give you a space to put the referral code. You can put that in there. Brandon says, keep doing what you're doing with your vids and live streams and other things, and it'll be awesome at doing, and have a good day. Well, have a good day. If you have to go charge your phone, appreciate you dropping by, Brandon. We missed you last week, so it's good you could stop by. Hope the camping goes well and there's not too much rain. Brandon also says, have a good Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, and don't get too drunk on New Year's. Well, interestingly enough, I haven't drank anything since February. I do love a good beer. I was a home brewer for years. I know a lot about the topic. I love a good bourbon, but I have not drank a drop. It's been difficult, but it's mostly been trying to improve, trying to drop a few pounds and make myself healthier, basically. So, Caveman says, my drunken caveman scent is bay rum flavored. Oh, I like that smell. Scented, yeah. Okay, well, we are at the bottom of the hour, so I want to once again say I appreciate everybody for dropping by for episode number 31. It's in the can. Thanks for dropping by, and I hope you have a good week coming up. Please join me next week, same bat time, same bat channel, where we talk about Atlas Earth for about an hour to an hour and a half. Otherwise, I hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy. And hey, as always, I will see you in Atlas Earth.